Hola. This is in conjunction with your silly government, and they're pretending to give you a disclosure out there, and the other BS they're giving you. As a matter of fact, for what we're trying to give the information, we're beginning to. Colleen just told me that for what we're doing, that we're being banned at certain social medias for presenting our predictions and prophecies and telling people to go to re-indigenizing minds. So they must be on to us. Well, Johnny come latelys. What can you say? Well, anyway, like I said on the last presentation, this is the one that's going to be the one that's going to probably blow the doors wide open. This is the one I've been avoiding trying to talk about, avoid even, presenting or even putting on any presentation because, I was worried it might put us out in the pseudoscience, department, and that's one thing I didn't want to do, and or try to avoid doing. But under the conditions that we're under right now, and being that it's now one rabbit, and I did say, I made a promise to Spirit that I'd release all of this knowledge and information to the world. And that just doesn't mean Native people. The world is everyone. And my job, as they told me, is just to present what they teach me. And your job is to take it or leave it. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to do my job. I'm going to present my presentation here. That's going to be titled Mormons, Mystery Airships, and Aliens. Now that sounds like a weird title to you, but when I get done with this, you'll understand what I'm talking about, because we're all tied into this in one way or another. So I'll start out with the beginning here. There's a 520-year prophecy cycle, and an example is going from 1 reed to 2039, and you add 520, it'll take you back to 1 reed again. So it's a 520-year prophecy cycle. So like that 1519 to 2039. So you take that 520, all of that, that means a prophecy or a prediction is going to repeat itself. And 972 is the year of when new people arrive. It's a cycle of when new people arrive. In other words, it's like the aliens landing and there's people already there, and it's like what we're in the modern days, the aliens landing on the earth and we're going, and it's the first time they're really making contact. They know of each other, but they never, actually met. So 972, Tula went belly up. The Toltecs lost their city and empire, and they moved east to their eastern trading partner on the same latitude, which took them to Yucatan, Maya. And then the Toltecs, they went over here, and like aliens, they landed in the Maya world, and they were, the Maya knew of them, but really weren't familiar with them until they actually walked into their villages. And then the Toltecs and the Maya became, united, and it became what we know today as Chichen Itza, which is, a great city that's down in that area. So now that I explained the 520 for the Toltec Maya, there's that 520 again. Now look at this one. This is the data everybody's familiar with. 972 plus 520, 1492. I'm in schools today. Nobody knows that it's Christopher Columbus in high schools anymore. Nobody even knows that was the year when this place was theoretically discovered. That's how good the education system is. Hey, at least I know. 1492. What happened then? The Spaniards, like the Toltecs, came and landed in the middle of the Aztecs. Like what? Like aliens landing on our world today. We didn't know who these people were, and they landed in our world, and it changed things. And that was in 1492. New people arrived. 520. You add that to 1492. 2012. Now we're getting into where we're at in the now. Who's in the now? Well, let's see. Black man's getting introduced. Yellow man's been introduced. White man's been introduced. Red man's introduced. Who's left to be introduced in 2012? Star people. Star people are we came in 2012, whether they want to realize it or not, because they are part of this new people arriving. I don't know what they were doing in 2012, but they were here. In 2012, these new people arrived, and who was like the Aztecs? The Americans. And the new people that came down were just like aliens coming down to our world, which they are. But this time, the Aztecs are the Americans. And you know what happened to the Aztecs on this round? It didn't end up too good. So anyway, on 2012, new people arrived. What do you do with 2012? You add 13 years. Why 13 years? That's a sacred number in the sacred calendar, and that's the number I'm using for all calculations. Where does that take you to? 2025, 2026. And what did they say was going to happen? And the Spirit told me they were going to do visual contact. The New Jersey drones aren't drones. The things we're seeing buzzing around in the sky are not meteors and fireballs. It's visual contact of them trying to get us accustomed and used to them being there. I mean, if we don't get accustomed to them being there, we're going to go into shock and just die of fright, and that's not what they want. So it's kind of a little a time process of conditioning us little by little. But the first one is visual contact, so we get the idea that they're there first. In other words, visually in the sky, buzzing around, and all that. First step, visual contact. That way they don't scare the shit out of us and we die of fright. Then you add 13 to that. And where does that take you? That takes you to 2038. And what happens in 2038? It's going to be the formal contact. But before the formal contact, you minus 8 years, which is a Venus cycle, which is 8 years to a 5 Venus cycle. So that's why I use 8 to 5 Venus cycles. Anyway, you take that minus 8 from 2038, it takes you to 2030. And what's going to happen in 2030? First visual contact, then informal contact. 8 years later, formal contact, which is the one that's going to happen in 2038. So this is the itinerary that your governments, your religions are hiding from you. And they can hide it for all they want, and it doesn't matter. It's not going to change destiny. Montezuma tried to change destiny. What happened? He ended up digged down in the dirt anyway. So it didn't matter what they did to try to change things. You can't change destiny. Now back to this 2012, because I need to tell you a little bit more. Why 2012 with my little arrow where it says American Star People? Because you start using those numbers again. 2012, and you take this and you minus 65 years from it. See, 65 years? I did it in 52 to 1960 to minus 13. And where does that 65 years you take from 2012 take you to? 1947. And what happened in 1947? The Roswell incident. Now you can see what I meant by, when I said Mormons, mystery airships, and aliens. There's the alien part right here that I'm showing you. 1947 Roswell incident. Now that's the alien part. Now how do I know they're going to arrive? It's really simple. My charts. Everybody laughs at my charts. I've been trying to get Carl Crusher to come look at my charts for the longest time, but they're too busy, chasing UAPs at Skinwalker Ranch to really take any of this serious. Because what I have, I got the schedule. I got the itinerary, and I'll show you how I got the itinerary. Pay attention, Carl Crusher, because this is going to blow the lid off of the whole thing. My Solar Maximus chart that I was using for 11. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it. Because I was using 11 to find the solar storms, which were on these little dots. And this number ones that are going along here. That's the solar storms. What I'm going to change it to, though, is going to be how to predict UFO contact and arrivals. What do I mean by that? Using this chart on this here is using 11.25, which is this number right here, which equals 180. 11.25. Spirit told me, he said, now you know how to use 11.25. Now you need how to learn how to do 11.50. But I'll get to that in a second. So I showed you the one where the solars are. But this red line right here next to it, where the zeros are, watch. 0, 0, 1877, 0, 1887, 0, 1897. And what is that 1897? The mystery airships that showed up at the end of the 1800s, before the beginning of the 20th century. They're legit. They line up in my chart. The mystery airships. Now you can see Mormons, mystery airships. See where I'm going with this? And then aliens. But with this mystery airship, how do I know that it's legit? Follow that 0000 from 1897 to the mystery airships to 1907, 1917, 1927, 1937. And where does it lead to? 1947 again. Like what I just showed you. Roswell, 1947, spaceship, Roswell, mystery airship. So with that, and then I asked Spirit, I said, what do you mean by 11.50? And he says, what numbers are used to make 115? 115, you're making me think, man, use math. So I said, okay, I kind of get what you're talking about. So what I did, let me see if that's the right one. Oh, it's this one right here. I'm already looking at it. I took the 2012, and what I did was 65 plus 50 makes 11.5. 65, 50, which makes that 115, and you turn that into 11.5. Oh, see how I did that? Means that at 65 years and 50 years, 65 years, 50 years, 65 years, and repetitive from that point on. Take 2012, the arrival date, back to my arrival date, right there, minus 65 takes you to 1947. Roswell. Then you minus 50, like I was saying earlier, it takes to 1897. The mystery airships of 1897. And then you minus 65 from 1897 again, and it takes you to 1832. What was in 1832? An event called the night the stars fell. Now, I want the Christians, and especially the Mormons, to listen to what I found out about 1832, which is part of my charts of these people arriving and us native people waiting for the star people. Because I'm getting tired of the Mormons appropriating our culture. So let's just blow the lid off right now. Night the stars fell. In 1832, the U.S. experienced a significant celestial event known as the night the stars fell. On November 12th of 1832, there's that number, November 12th, because it's close to November 13th, it's estimated that 72,000 falling stars per hour were falling. The event was interpreted as a sign of the biblical end times, with Josrph Smith, with his rogue Mormons, ended up traveling with the Mormons to Utah because they saw it as the second coming. So Josrph Smith, who formed the Mormon religion, saw the things from 1832 that's on my chart and mistook it as the second coming and formed what we call today the Mormon religion. I mean, I think he got killed and then Brigham Young had to take over after that. That's another whole story. Now you can see what I was talking about. Mormons, mystery airships, and aliens. See my title? I wasn't making it up. You could make this up in a movie even. It is better than a movie plot. You know, you never would have thought Mormons were mixed up with mystery airships and mixed up with the people in Roswell. You know, so I'm just the Indian here, just reporting what your government and religions aren't telling you. Now you're wondering, how do you know that these dates are what they are? Remember I showed you the mystery airships and that zero and then that Roswell and how they're connected together, then how they're connected to 1832 with with the numbers I just did. Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to demonstrate to you the chart that modern man should be paying my ass a lot of money for, because their scientists are wasting your money and your time when time is really valuable right now. So valuable, I can tell you right now I only got 13 years left. So that's how valuable time is. Don't have time to be dicking around, you know, when it's that much time and you got 11 minutes before a solar flare hits. Modern man is so unprepared it's not even funny. But here we go. This is going to be probably historic, because it's probably going to show something that nobody's ever thought of or ever considered. See what it says? Predicting UFO arrivals by using 13 instead of 11.25. And you use 13. On mine, yellow is for 1947. The alien faces stand for contacts. Face to face. That's why his face is looking right at you with his eyes.
You should color it in green too.
I don't have the time. Like I said, time is of the essence right now.
Okay.
You're the artist. You want to do it? Over here, orange in 1952. And what does that stand for? It's a UFO ship. UFO waves. You know, when there's a whole bunch of them flying over,
So
one
that's
area
how
of the
you
country.
coded it. Okay.
1947. Contacts, alien face, UFO waves, you know, the UFO itself. Okay, now you go all the way down. It's the same chart, the same suns and all that. Except this time, I'm not using 11. I'm using 13. Now, let's go back to what I was saying earlier. Roswell, 1947. Let's start with that, because it's on the chart and it's right here. Oh, Metro update. See that 1947 with that little Cheerio zero right there?
Yep.
And it says, start here, 13 years. Hey, he's got glitter in him. I didn't see that before. But anyway, there's 1947. I'm going to do the shorthand version of reading this, because we could go and go on blah, 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 down to 13 and all of that. The shorthand version is a lot easier, because the shorthand version, you go just over here, which is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
And for those of you who are just tuning in and don't understand, so this chart is read like the 260-day calendar. So we're at the end, so you would start at the beginning. And so instead of counting one by 13, just
I did
do
a shorthand version. That's
Yep.
just a shorthand version of getting to the same place. So we're not here for an hour just, counting blocks, which they can easily do. Now I say 1947. Okay, well, 1947. See? 1947. 1947. Then what is this? 1960. 1960. Now watch. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1973. 1973. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1986. See? 1986. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1999. 1999. See, there it is again. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2012. 2012. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2025, which was just pretty much right now. Then over here it says 13 years. Now watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to leave my finger on that saucer there because that's where we ended up on that count from this 1947 point. And I'm not going to remove it because I'm going to show you the other path. 1952. Why 1952? And it says start here with 13 years. There was a UFO wave over Washington, D.C. 1952. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1965. See a spaceship there? U.S. Midwest. There was a UFO wave over the U.S. American Midwest. 1965. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1978. There was a UFO wave over Italy in 1978. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1991, there was a UFO wave over Mexico, and Mexico City had the biggest UFO wave in the history of the world. And then it was in Mexico, 1991. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2004. What happened in 2004? It's called the Nimitz. USS Nimitz had a bunch of things flying out of the sky with the Navy in 2004. And that happened with the USS Nimitz. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is 2017. What happened in 2017? What everybody's getting excited about. The Tic Tac incident in 2017. Then you go 9 over here. 9 over here. 10, 11, 12, 13. This hasn't occurred yet. 2030. Now look, 2030. Look, 2030.
Informal contact.
Look, 2030. Right there. Now you go 8 years for a Venus cycle, which is for that 5 Venus cycle count. So you go 8 years where from 2030 when that contact, remember where I ended up here? Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They both end up here. But this is where it gets interesting. Look at the pattern. Saucer, alien, saucer, alien, saucer, alien, saucer, alien, saucer, alien, saucer, alien, saucer. But watch. Saucer, alien. 2037, there's going to be contact with them before they come in a UFO wave in 2038. The only place where they're separated is 2037 to 2038. One is down here, one is over there. But this is all mathematically laid out to when they're going to arrive, when they're going to show up, what's going to be a contact, whether it's going to be a UFO wave. What do I mean by contact? I'll explain what I mean by contact because I haven't finished it all yet because I got this part down, but I'm still looking into the... But I'll show you what I've got up to this point.
Well, it's like an itinerary, like you said.
Yeah, it's a schedule. The Spirit gave the schedule to us thousands of years ago, and the Mayans were doing it. And the only difference is I'm doing it now in modern. It's the same thing, just in the modern way of going about it. I created this chart without the Maya help, but I did get inspired by the 260-day sacred calendar. Okay, what am I saying about contacts? 1947. 1947, that was Roswell. So, them they couldn't have more contact than them picking up burnt bodies off of that field. 1960, what happened there? Betty and Barney Hill. 1973, the Pascola event, where those two guys were fishing on the pier in Louisiana, and a ship took them aboard and abducted them in Pascola, the incident. And then 1986, that's the Japanese Boeing incident in Alaska, where this big mothership approached it, and I don't think they were. I think they were trying to contact, but there was too much radar activity going on. They were seen by other liners and jets, and it was just too. I think they were going to abduct that jetliner if nobody was there. That was the contact, but it got thwarted because there was too much people around that they couldn't do it. And so that's as far as I got so far. 1999, I had to stop because I kind of hit a wall there. Because I'll tell you what happened in 1999, which is weird. In 1999, this black lady friend of mine named Beverly and I ran into them in the Valle Grande outside of Los Alamos, and we were taken aboard their ship, and it was in 1999. So I think I'm getting dragged into this thing whether I want it or not, because that's why I stopped doing these numbers when I hit over. I said, that's me. I know these guys, but But anyway, 2012 down here, 2025, and these are the contact dates down here. So I'm letting you see how I laid this out mathematically, because if you'll notice, they even come along in interesting numbers too, like odd numbers 3, 5, even numbers 6, 8, even numbers 2, 4, odd numbers 1, 9, odd numbers 7, 5. See, it's kind of the only place where it doesn't do that seems to be this 8 and this 0, but it's approaching here. So it might be the reason. But anyway, this right here is a mathematical layout about when they come, when they go. I mean, if I take 1847 and I go 1846, I could go to the past and build another chart that'll do the same thing. Or if I take over here and take 2039 over here and then make the chart go forward, I could go into the future and it'll still do the same things. I could go all the way into the future,
and that's kind of what
past as far as I want.
That's what the codexes did.
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's what I said. I just did a modern version of what the Mayans are doing. I just modernized it. That's all. So it'll be understandable. So basically, this right here is interesting. But 2030, I need to say one thing before I stop the demonstration, because I believe I've shown enough with how my charts operate and how I came up with contacts and arrivals. But I want to make one last point about 2030, and it's a little unsettling, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, because if I'm not,
is this the Sumerian connection?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, that is something that's on its own. I mean, that one I don't even want to mess with because it's out of our culture. But there is a Sumerian connection with the same numbers, the same exact numbers, to be honest with you. They knew the same numbers about the end times as we did. No, my biggest concern is 2030, because over here in 2030, you see that 3? See how I'm going down there to that line, to that line, to that line, to that line, and then see that 1 right there? It says Tunguska impact. This is how you read the thing. See, you go all the way there and go like my ruler, and then where does it go to though? 2030. There's a possibility that this event that happened called the Tunguska impact is going to repeat again in 2030.
And that was in Russia.
Yeah. And that's not the only one. There's another one that I found too here that was the most recent one in Russia. The Chelyabinsk explosion that happened about, 10 years back or so? That's it right here. It's over here tied to 2034. So there's a possibility that these two events might become to repeat in 2030 and 2034, and I sure hope I'm wrong. But my charts are saying otherwise. So I just wanted to let you know about this 2030 that's tied to that 2030 over here. Because at the same time as this Tunguska event is going on, there's also a UFO wave happening. So this is why my presentation was titled Mormons, Mystery Airships, and Aliens. Oh, and Ancient Indians. Don't forget us. We're the ones that are keeping the schedule, the itinerary, and don't let the star people know this. They think we're dumb as a rock. They don't even know that we have this. They think we're stupid, you know. Just because, you know, we don't have fancy gadgets and gizmos like they have up there in their little, you know, expensive toys, doesn't really mean we don't have a brain in our head. I didn't need a computer to make this. I didn't need electricity. I didn't need no high tech. I just needed my brain and time.
And a ruler.
Yeah, and a ruler and a lot of ink.
And we're also the ones that social media keeps censoring and deleting comments to that are made directing people to check out some of the videos that we've posted. So
well, the same information I'm just telling you is the information that they're withholding from you. That's why Wilcock is dead. That's why these scientists are dead. They don't want you to know what is to come. Why? I'm going to be honest with you. You know what freedom means to the white man? Total control. There, I said it. And that's what they're fear of, is losing control. And just the illusion of losing control bothers them. So they got to put up this front. They got to be the boogeyman and tell everybody that when my arrival date in TikTok that says they're going to arrive in informal contact in 2030. Now in TikTok, it's turning into a big alien invasion where they're going to blow up the earth and kill everybody here. I mean, that's what the U.S. boogeyman is doing. Look what I'm doing. It just says informal contact. It doesn't say nothing about nobody coming down here to, you know, raid the earth and kill our asses and take over. No, the government's making that up. The government's making it up to get you prepared for Project Bluebeam. You know, they'll project Jesus up there so you can kiss their ass or something. I don't know what they're up to. But, like I said, they can do whatever they want. And Montezuma could do whatever he wanted.
he changed time.
But you can't change destiny. You might be able to get rid of me. You might get rid of this evidence, this proof. But it's still going to happen regardless. So you're stupid for even trying to change things. Because it's already set in stone. It's too late. And the reason it's too late? This orange idiot made the decision for you as a race. He decided to go to war instead of going for the avenue of peace, you know, and trying to find a way out of it with an alliance here with NATO or something. So this one guy made the decision for your entire race. And now you flunked. And now I have to come out and let you know that there's new people going to come here. And if you don't know how to be humble and modest now, these new people are going to teach you how to be humble and modest again. How do I know that? We learned that in 1519. We thought we were the kings of the world. And then 1519, it changed. The aliens landed. There you go. Class over.